Good evening, Keto and Wrestling family. MATTROISE here with another live stream tonight of Dark Side of the Ring, Bash at the Beach, live. We're going to have a great time here tonight, and please allow me to be your eyes and ears for this broadcast, and I'll give you play-by-play, let you know what's going on for Bash at the Beach, live here. How's everyone doing tonight? Don't forget, top 3 wrestling trivia scorers will win one of these prizes. A pop figure for SummerSlam. Just so you know. What's up, Time Energy? Garrett Light. What's going on, bro? How's everyone doing this evening? It's great to see you guys. What's up, Michael Maroney? The Dark Angel. What's going on? Robert Boydston. No, it's actually 2000. Bash at the Beach, Robert. The whole incident with Hollywood Hogan, Jeff Jarrett laying down in the ring and Hogan pinning Jarrett. Oh, it's Yos. Oh, what's up, Yos? Here we go.
The once industry-dominating World Championship Wrestling was struggling to keep pace with their rival, the World Wrestling Federation.
You are looking at the next WWF champion, and that's the bottom line.
In many ways, WCW's fortunes and future hinged on one key event.
Bash at the Beach 2000. Candidly, one of the biggest disasters of my entire career.
Bash at the Beach was one of WCW's biggest annual pay-per-view events. And in the year 2000, it was the stage for an epic clash between two of wrestling's most controversial creative talents.
And I promise you will never see that piece of shit again!
Ooh.
Russo is motivated by attention. I don't know why. I didn't know if he didn't get enough when he was a little kid.
Eric represented everything I despise in the wrestling business. And bro, I'll tell you, you're never gonna outwork me because I'm better than you.
Ooh.
If he believes that, he's got a problem with reality.
The incident at Bash at the Beach 2000 is one in which every participant has their own version of what actually took place that night.
Okay.
And I said, Hulk, you're not walking out of here the WCW champion. That is not happening.
What's Jeff doing? Now the script's out the window. What's going to happen? And it's like, nobody wants to watch wrestling and see that. It was one of the dumbest things I ever saw.
And Hogan, you big bald son of a bitch, kiss my ass.
Wow.
It was never my plan. No, I'm really pissed off. Hogan's pretty sensitive about being called bald, even though he doesn't have any hair. Did I know that Hulk Hogan was going to take legal action? How could you not?
There will come a time, there will come a place when I will tell the entire story of what happened at Bash at the Beach.
The legacy of Bash at the Beach, the single biggest black eye in WCW history.
Bash at the Beach. Here we go.
I despise the wrestling business, bro. I despise the people in it. You cannot be a good person and exist in the wrestling business. You can't, bro, because you enter a Shark Tank. And unless you become a shark, they will eat you alive.
I can believe
My name
that.
is Vince Russo. I was in the wrestling business since 1991, so I'm going on 32 years now. You can boo all you want. That doesn't change the fact that I'm better than you. What I'm looking for tonight is ratings. Big ratings. And we're gonna deliver, you son of a bitch.
Vince, we've got to know, who is the WCW World's Heavyweight Champion?
Question?
Question.
There is no question, Mike.
There's no
Who's
question.
here with the belt?
Overall, do you think Vince Russo has done more harm or good for wrestling? Harm. Yeah, I mean, it's a long-term harm, yeah.
Harm.
Yeah.
That just says harm.
In the 1990s, professional wrestling is bigger and hotter than it has ever been before, as industry leader Vince McMahon's World Wrestling Federation faces a serious challenge to its popularity by an aggressive challenger, billionaire Ted Turner's World Championship Wrestling.
WWF had been the dominant company from 84 through, I would say, 96. And in 96 it flipped over and WCW was dominant. My name's Dave Meltzer and I'm the editor of the Wrestling Observer newsletter, and I've been covering pro wrestling since the early 1970s. The flaw of Vince McMahon is he only thinks a certain thing works. That's it. And there's a million things in wrestling that when done well can work.
As both companies engage in a fierce ratings war pitting their Monday night shows against each other, the rise of WCW is led by its ambitious young president, Eric Bischoff.
I decided the only way I was going to be successful was to be different. I listed all of the things that made WWE successful, and I decided to do exactly the opposite of what they were doing. I'm Eric Bischoff, former president of WCW. I'm the first one that created a weekly live television format for professional wrestling. I looked at the WWE and they were taped. And I thought, wrestling needs to be live. When it's live, the audience has to watch it. WCW before Nitro was just a really bad, cheap imitation of WWE. It was just silly, childish stuff. The Shaq They were ignoring men 18 to 39. So I thought, okay, there's my opportunity. I began wondering, how can I transition into more reality-based product? Eric produced a different kind of a television show than had ever been done before. He was just ahead of the game, and Vince was behind the times.
Before launching Monday Nitro, Bischoff aims to legitimize WCW by headhunting major talent, poaching Vince McMahon's biggest star to be the new face of his company.
We're the #2 wrestling company in the world. We're a fraction of the WWE's ratings. And bringing in Hulk Hogan changed the perception of WCW. It was a seismic shift. I remember Eric telling me, where Hogan goes the money. That was his thing. And all of a sudden, my phone rings one day, and it's my buddy Diamond Dallas Page. And he said, Eric, Scott Hall wants to leave WWE. He was Razor Ramon there. So I do the deal with Scott Hall, and about a week after that, I get a call from Kevin Nash. Same thing. Bam, the light bulb went off in my head. There's my storyline. There's my reality. The NWO, the New World Order. We left WWE in the dust. In the dust. We weren't just beating them, we were beating them badly.
But the WWF isn't down for the count, as fans eventually begin gravitating to a new generation of superstars and a radical new approach to wrestling storylines, introduced by a brash young writer named Vince Russo.
Writing a wrestling show is not rocket science. And one of the things I said to Vince when I first sat down with him, Vince, that wrestling handbook gets thrown out the window. And I said, Vince, from now on, they think we're going to go left, we're going to go right. Now, all of a sudden, week to week to week, they don't know what's going to happen. The idea of Crash TV is I am writing that TV like the viewer at home is sitting there with the remote in his hand, begging me to give him the opportunity to see what was going on the other channel. So it would be short match, backstage segment, vignette, short match, fight in the locker room, vignette, boom, 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 and you are not giving that viewer the opportunity to, let's see what's on Nitro. That's Crash TV.
Crash TV.
Russo's concept of Crash TV plays a key part in turning the tide, and soon the WWF is back on top, beating WCW every Monday night.
Towards probably the middle of 98, certainly in 99, that had reversed again. Now WWE was on top. And that was a magical period. I don't want to dismiss Vince Russo's, contributions, but they had Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock at the same time. And that's like, the Yankees with Babe Ruth and Lou Gehrig. WCW, by the end of 99, they started losing money. They were the Titanic heading to the iceberg. My budgets were becoming slashed. eventually I got let go in '99 because I was fighting that. I was struggling, I was fighting it.
Turner executives relieve Bischoff of his creative duties, while rumors emerge that Russo is overworked and frustrated in his role at the WWF.
Well, WWF added a second show, SmackDown, and did not give Vince Russo a raise, so they went from doing one show a week to 2 shows a week.
I went into Vince's office. I said, Vince, I want to be able to move my family closer to my wife's family, so my wife isn't alone and she has help raising the kids. Because Vince, I'm never home. And he turned around, bro, without missing a beat and said, you make enough money, you should be able to hire a nanny to take care of your kids. You don't tell a proud Italian man who loves his family to hire a nanny to watch his kids. Bro, at that moment, it was over. And they had me up to WCW that weekend.
Wow.
I was shocked when WCW brought him in. It was a match made in heaven or hell, depending on who you talk to.
I know I'm going into this thing with a target on my back. This is the first time I am going to be working with these veterans that have been at WCW for a long time. From day one, Hulk and Eric were like this. I can actually remember locking eyes with Hulk for the first time, and what I read from Hulk immediately was mistrust.
Vince Russo was smart enough to know that you couldn't build around Hulk Hogan anymore if you wanted a future. So, yes, I think he was trying to figure out a way to remove him because Hulk Hogan had so much power because it was Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, I've heard the critics ask the question, well, is Hulk Hogan getting older? Well, yeah, Hulk Hogan's getting older, and so is every other damn wrestler in the back, too, day by day.
So there was this narrative that Hulk Hogan couldn't wrestle in the ring anymore, he had no value, he should retire, blah, 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 blah. Or in reality, the business side of the wrestling business still thought very highly of Hulk Hogan.
Taking the reins of WCW in October of 1999, Russo begins reshaping and reimagining the company's flagship show, Monday Nitro.
Vince Russo believed, the more extreme and shocking you make it, the more they will like it.
We are just gonna hump you like the dogs that we are.
Sometimes that's right, but you also run into a thing where once you've done it, you desensitize the audience, and then there's nothing you can do.
Yeah!
What's the worst thing that he's done, like that you watched?
I don't know. I didn't watch this shit. I couldn't watch it.
I was there for 3 months. The ratings went up in those 3 months.
How are the ratings doing? Are they improving?
Well, he'll tell you they were improving, but no, they weren't up. Artificially, it looked good, but every month, if you do the month rating, the October, the November, the December, every month was down slightly.
Next thing I know, management tells me we're going in a different direction. And I said, okay, fine, I'll go home, send me my money.
Send me my money.
Bischoff and Russo have failed to turn WCW ratings around. The network lands on a new idea. Both men working together.
Brad Siegel is the head of TNT and TBS. Vince, I want you to meet somebody for lunch. I know immediately he's talking about Eric Bischoff.
And now my job is to oversee Vince Russo. Between Vince and Eric, I never felt that there was a power struggle. My name's Jeff Jarrett. Some call me Double J, some call me the Last Outlaw.
Jeff Jarrett.
I just think philosophically, those two guys view creating and producing wrestling content entirely different. A philosophical difference as opposed to a personality difference.
Is LIVESTREAM officially in WCW now? Yes!
I negotiated my contract with both Vince Russo and Eric, and I much more preferred dealing with Eric. Russo was the creative end of it, and he was different. Vince Russo sat down with, all right, well, he's the guy that's going to be in charge of creative. He's looking at me, and he's like, just off the top of my head, first thing I think of is like, maybe making you Eric's illegitimate son. And I look at Eric, and Eric has the same look on his face. What the hell? Like, isn't Eric like 10 years older than me? How is he my illegitimate dad?
I did go into it with an open mind, and initially it was kind of fun. But it became apparent to me that Vince Russo is void of any creative.
That was Lance Storm talking.
You could not have put two of the most opposite people together and said, go.
Oh, anytime, bro. Anytime, burrito. What's going on, everybody? Got Jason Layton in the house. How's it going at the firehouse? What's up, Time Energy? He's going MJF. I guess you could say that. So Michael Maroney asks, who do I have winning between Roman Reigns and Jey Uso? Definitely Roman. Roman's definitely going to win. Oh yeah, Garrett, they definitely did make it look crazy. Rorito's got a question. How would you have prevented Bash at the Beach 2000? I'd say I would prefer to have everyone sit down, talk it over, and try to come up with a solution. Or he says, do you feel Hogan was too power hungry? Absolutely. He had an ego, I'm sure. Or he asks, do you feel Russo was to blame as well? I feel like all parties were to blame in this scenario. King of Cleveland asks, who's in the Hall of Fame for SummerSlam this year? We have Yuang Lee, Z, your boy Yoda, Garrett Light, Roger Jr., Brian Schaefer, Legacy Awards, the Road Dogg, Sparky Bear, and Gizmo. And last but certainly not least, the headliner who will be announced the night of. So that's going to be this Thursday, guys. Rory asks, how would you book Hogan after 96 Bash at the Beach? 96 Bash at the Beach? Well, he was the third man. Obviously, put him up with Ric Flair, or the Bret Hart would arrive a year later. Or he asks, do you feel Russo is the reason why Bret did not succeed in WCW? Maybe he had some intervention there, maybe. Or he asks, do I agree with what Russo said about his Italian family? I'm sure he got offended, but I can vouch for him. Yes, family is huge in the Italian family, absolutely. And I'm sure in every family, family's huge. Garrett asks, does this remind you of the Bret Screwjob? It has similarities, yes. Rory asks, do you feel Russo was a great booker for WWF prior to getting to WCW? I think he was a great booker, honestly. Rory asks, what were 3 Vince Russo storylines that you consider were good in WWE? So Joe Giblet, honestly, I'm not sure which ones he could take credit for.
The company's survival hinges on reversing its
All right,
downward spiral.
More comments later.
Eric Bischoff and Vince Russo devised a storyline designed to play off the real-life backstage drama and the tensions between Bischoff's veterans and Russo's desire to push younger talent.
There's new sheriffs in town. The idea of the program was the Millionaires Club versus the Young Blood, where all these young guys that were held down, now they're going to get an opportunity.
The Millionaires Club, I remember that.
Civil War, creatively speaking, between young and old, because that's like part of life, right? Get that damn camera out of here.
Despite their efforts, Bischoff and Russo's storyline fails to win over fans or improve the ratings.
Man, that whole year of 2000 was kind of like blanked out of my mind because it was so bad.
It was destined for failure from the beginning.
Vince Russo, I was done with him creatively because I knew he was a bullshitter.
Eric wanted to be in charge. So I call Brad Siegel and I say, bro, put Eric in charge of the show. Brad Siegel said to me, no, Vince, we want you to write the show. Okay, fine. The next time I see Eric Bischoff, Bash at the Beach.
In the week leading up to the pay-per-view event, Russo prepares the show with a focus on who will emerge the next world champion.
That week, I walked into our creative meeting, and I threw a question out there at the very beginning of the meeting. And the question was, if you could put the WCW title on anyone in the company right now, who would it be? And I went around the table, Booker T, Booker T, Booker T, and unanimously, everybody said Booker T. I said, well, then that's what we're gonna do.
I had the belt at this time a couple of months, and so my overarching creative was for the chosen one, Jeff Jarrett, to face multiple legends and be victorious until it was time to switch the title to Booker T.
I'm gonna tell you like this here, we gonna turn this mother out. Now can you dig it?
A lot of significance, a lot of upside, and I saw Vince Russo's vision and bought into it.
So the main event of the evening was Jeff Jarrett versus Booker T for the WCW title, with Booker T going over.
He's one of those guys where you knew he was really good. Wrestling had not been kind to African-American wrestlers. Give somebody else a chance. This is something new.
To add more intrigue to the event, Russo makes the decision to give Jeff Jarrett one last win before losing the belt to Booker T. A win over Hollywood Hulk Hogan.
When I wrote the very first version of the show, it was Jarrett against Hogan, and I wrote Hulk Hogan very strong. However, he was not going to win the WCW title. Why? Because you just had an entire room agree on Booker T.
Vince Russo had his idea what he wanted to do at Bash at the Beach. Hulk Hogan and I were on a completely different page. What Vince Russo wanted to do didn't freaking matter. Hulk Hogan had 100% creative control over his storyline
100%.
and how his character was presented on television.
Back in 1994, Bischoff had lured Hogan
That's crazy.
to WCW by offering him one of the most generous contracts in wrestling history.
I think the technical wording was he had control of his finishes. It's like he didn't want to lose, he didn't have to lose.
It's easy to sit here and say unprecedented, but to that date, someone with no ownership, but to have complete creative control, that is a conflict of interest. When a talent has creative control, it sort of comes down to the simplicity. Are they worried about their bottom line, or are they worried about the company's bottom line? It's radically different.
So I wrote the first script where Hulk Hogan looks very strong, but he does not win the WCW title. Hulk Hogan poo-pooed that first script. So now I rewrite the script and I really make Hulk Hogan look like King Kong. Not only does he wind up killing Jeff Jarrett, he winds up killing Scott Steiner. He literally winds up wiping everybody, but he does not leave with the title. Hulk says he's good with the second version. So now I walk into Bash at the Beach that Sunday thinking everything's fine and Hulk is gonna do what the second script says. Eric Bischoff comes up to me and says, you better go in the trailer and talk to Hulk Hogan because he's not gonna do this. Who's in the trailer? Me, Hulk Hogan, and Eric Bischoff. So if you want to break that down, it is clearly 2 against 1.
Did Vince Russo and I discuss it several times? Yes, we did. It was my job to oversee him. It was my call, not Vince Russo's call. He didn't get to vote. He thought he did, but he didn't.
Eric informs me that they came up with a scenario, and that scenario is Hulk winning the title. He wants to win the WCW title.
Eric's idea is to blur the line between reality and fiction with a story angle where Hulk flexes his creative control clause to win the belt as Jeff Jarrett throws the match in disgust. Hulk, angry at Jarrett's refusal to fight, is then scripted to storm out of the ring.
The idea was for Hulk to leave in a state of frustration and anger as a result of the finish of the match, the important element of it was that once WCW realized that Hulk Hogan wasn't coming back and he wasn't giving the belt back, that would force WCW to then vacate that title and create a tournament for a new World Heavyweight Champion. And finally, at Halloween Havoc, which was a big October pay-per-view, the two finalists in that tournament, before it physically took place, Hogan was going to make a surprise appearance and say, I still have the belt, and if you want this, you've got to beat me. Boom. There's your story.
Okay.
I was pissed. Bro, you're pulling this bullshit the day of a show. I rewrote the show twice. This show is starting in an hour.
It got to the point where I said, look, we're going to get on the phone with Brad Siegel, and we're going to lay it out, and we'll let Brad choose. And Brad said, go with Eric's idea. That's it. Now you got the president of the network, who's the tiebreaker. It was over and done.
Eric wanted to be in charge. He wanted things to go back to the way they were. Bro, I'm not an idiot. So Hulk lays out this elaborate story, and I know the story ends with him winning the title. While he's laying out the story, this ear is listening. This side of my brain is figuring out another story because he's not walking out with the title.
Pay-per-view showtime starts at 8 o'clock, 7:30, somewhere in that window. Vince comes to me and says, bro, in his great New Yorker accent, this is what we're doing.
Jeff, Hulk doesn't want to do the job for you. F Hulk, lay down for him, let him leave with his freaking belt. We wanted everybody to believe it. Jeff was not in on it. We wanted everybody in the back to believe this. That was the goal.
Vince was pretty clear. Go to the ring, we'll get the bell to start the match. Just make it very clear you're taking a dive. You're laying down for him. And I was dumbfounded. And I said, Vince, this story is not well thought out. It doesn't make any logical sense. And for a babyface to capture gold this way is a real bad taste that if a champion's going to be a champion, don't you really want to beat somebody? And this was the opposite of that. And there's a million other options. I felt the audience would say, this is the best you guys could come up with. I told Vince this, everybody loses in this scenario. Everybody loses.
What I don't understand is, I still don't understand, why did they have Jarrett and Hogan compete that night? Why didn't they just have Jarrett and Booker T compete? Because why did they put Hogan in the mix? Because this was going to get messy if they did that anyway. All right, let's continue with some more tantalizing questions here. So Rory has not learned anything new thus far. Anytime Rory received his prizes from the last pay-per-view, you were watching the old Raw match the other night. Do you remember Tennessee Lee? He was Jeff Jarrett's manager in WWF. Jason, it sounds familiar, but I actually don't remember Tennessee Lee. Vince Russo? No, Roy, I don't feel like he was a cancer. I feel like he had something to offer the business. He did. Rory says, do you feel Carlito needs to join LWO? I think it would be an amazing addition. However, the size of Carlito, compared to the other members, he will make the other members look real weak. Because the new WWE talent is not in anywhere, shape, or form as big as the talent was back in those days. As you can see, Carlito, the guy is jacked. He looks like a wrestler used to look like. I mean, it would be an amazing addition, but he would make the new LWO look weak, in my opinion. Who's your favorite crowd at any pay-per-view this year, Joe? Absolutely Puerto Rico. Marody, the Hall of Fame. Not sure yet. I'm still trying to figure out that, but you never know. about co-hosting the Hall of Fame this Thursday. How would I book Carlito if I was in charge, Garrett? Yeah, to join LWO. Rory asked, did I feel Carlito's a ripoff of NWO? I mean, of Razor Ramon. Not necessarily. Maybe just a tad bit, but not necessarily. What's up, Jackson Dean? Everything's great. How are you, bro? Do I feel like WWF misused Stone Cold as a ringmaster? Rory asked. I don't think so. I think they got what they got out of him, out of that character. That character was very limited to begin with. Rory asked, what I put in the modern day Money Inc. Cameron Grimes and Baron Corbin. Cam the Fan. What's going on, bro? King Patriot. What's that music noise they were playing? I like it. Well, Dark Side of the Ring composers, yeah, they make their own songs in the background. Rory asks, do I feel Bash at the Beach also led to the downfall of WCW? Absolutely. It was already on a downward spiral.
Storyline is in place for
more questions after this.
Champion Jeff Jarrett to take a dive for Hulk Hogan. Everyone is ready to put the plan in motion until Jarrett begins having second thoughts.
When it came down to match time, I had a real overwhelming sense of, do I really want to do this? Do I really want to be a part of this mess? Do I really want to walk the aisle and be a part of this finish? Those thoughts went through my mind because my father, my grandmother, my outlook on the industry, that you really only have one boss, and that's the fans.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the year 2000 WCW Bash at the Beach and the main event of the evening.
When they hit my music, I stayed in the back.
But where's Jarrett? I mean, this music's been playing for well over a minute. There's no sign of it. What's going on here? This is not like the Chosen One to stand us up on a pay-per-view.
So my music played quite a while. I think it looped 2 or 3 times. And I stayed over in a little tunnel and really just thought through it. I could take matters into my own hands and say, I'm not doing the dive. I could, jump him and make him punch me around and make him give me a big boot. What are my real options? What is going to protect my family and my career best?
So much at stake here.
I can't say that I was legitimately angry. I can say thoroughly disgusted. And when I finally said, let's get this over with, that was where my head was at.
Here he is.
By the time I headed down the aisleway, everything in my mind was, Hogan, you want your creative control so bad, take it.
You know something, Jeff Jarrett? You are the chosen one because I have chosen you to powerbomb your ass through this match. So come on down and get your ass kicked, Jarrett.
Looking across the ring and looking at Hulk and knowing that he orchestrated all of this, I never, ever looked at him the same way.
What's Jeff doing? What's Jeff doing?
He just took the dive.
Russo was holding the belt up like, do you want the belt? Take the man. Jarrett's down. I know that. And Hogan is the sharpest. What in the world, Jeff Jarrett?
How does the crowd react when Jarrett lays down? There's confusion, like they really don't know what's going on.
The essence of professional wrestling through the generations has been the ability to blur the lines between what's nonfiction and what's fiction. But the old promoter adage, you confuse them, you lose them. We confused them and we lost them.
This can't be Jeff Jarrett. I mean, they grew up in this sport. What is going on?
Yeah, because I'm confused too. I'm still confused.
Honest with you, all I want to sure is this plan carries out the exact same way I laid it out in the trailer. Jeff laid down, Hulk Hogan, you're going home with your belt. This is all part of the story.
Wow.
That's why this company's in the damn shape it's in, because of bullshit like this.
Referee counted 1, 2, 3, and rolled out to the ring and went straight to the back.
We got this in real life. 1, 2, 3. Ladies and gentlemen, that is not something they go over with us at the production meeting. Now, there are swerves and there are swerves. We've all been swerved.
And it went forward exactly the way Hulk wanted to go forward. The audience believed that Hulk Hogan was pissed, and he took the belt and he left the building. It went according to plan. We jump in the limo. We leave the arena with the belt. We go to the airport. We're on the plane. We're high-fiving, cracking a beer, laughing. Everything went the way we wanted to go.
As Bischoff and Hogan leave the arena, the show continues. But what happens next will be debated by fans and insiders for decades to come, as Russo takes matters into his own hands.
Well, here's Mr. Russo. What the hell is this?
30 minutes later, the plane lands, and all of a sudden, Hogan's phone is blowing up. So is mine. Russo went out and cut the scathing promo and buried Hulk.
This was like the big, great swerve that somehow turned real when Russo does the promo later, and things end up getting worse.
There's only one way for me to do this, and that's for me to tell it like it is.
You know, bro, again, these are the things people hate me for.
So he did a promo. What I don't understand is, why didn't they just have Jeff Jarrett take on Booker T that night? Why did they have to include Hogan in this matter? Because as you can see, it turned into a big problem, including Hogan. All right, let's see other questions we have here. Rory asks, do I feel Double J was right in what he did during the match? I don't really know, to be honest. I mean, he shouldn't have laid down like that, I'd say. I say they should have put on at least a short match. Yeah, definitely, Rory. Definitely the downfall of WCW. I think it added to it. Absolutely. Rory asks, who do I think was in charge that night? The CEO. The CEO above Eric Bischoff. Who do I trust more in what they are commenting? Honestly, Vince Russo sounds very compelling. There could be some holes there, but I don't know. Bischoff sounds like he's got a level head there, but he could be trying to protect Hogan still. Who knows? Rory, I think they get paid to appear on Dark Side. I would assume so. What's the most you'd pay a wrestler for an interview? For how much and how long? It cannot be free. The most? I'd say like $100 for a half hour. But I don't know if that would be possible, right? That's the most I would want to pay. Maybe I would want to pay even less than that. I should do a community post for who I should have co-host for the Hall of Fame. King Patriot. That's a good idea. I might consider that. What's up, Mike Harper? What's going on? You'd like to be a co-host too? Well, that's awesome. Well, a lot of you guys. All right, well, I'll let you guys know if anything. Put 4 past random Hall of Fames in the hat, and you pick out from the hat to us leaving tonight. Well, we'll see. We'll see. All right, we're back for commercial break.
After Jeff Jarrett takes a dive, Hulk leaves the building with the belt, enraging and confusing the audience. Now, to the surprise of everyone, Vince Russo makes his way out to the ring.
Here's Mr. Russo.
Yeah, I'm still confused to this day. Yeah, Percy, I mean, that would make sense.
What we have seen.
My entire life, every promo I've ever cut, there's only one way for me to do this, and that's for me to tell it like it is. I don't know what I'm going to say. I am in the moment. That's real, and that's what people believe. Here's where the story is. Here's where my character is. Go. Let me tell you people what happened out here in this ring tonight. All day long I'm playing politics with Hulk Hogan because Hulk Hogan tonight wants to play his creative control card. And to Hulk Hogan, that meant that tonight in the middle of this ring, when he knew it was bullshit, he beats Jeff Jarrett.
Because of Russo's crazy booking style, we're all like, is this the plan? Are they working us? If this was the plan, it's stupid. And if it's not the plan, it's even stupider. We're all just sitting there going, what the hell is going on?
And let me tell you who doesn't give a shit about this company. That goddamn politician Hulk Hogan. Hogan got his belt and he went the hell home. And I promise everybody else I'll go in the goddamn grave. You will never see that piece of shit again.
Ooh.
Adding to the confusion of the moment, Russo shocks the crowd by announcing a new main event.
Hulk Hogan now has the WCW belt. That belt don't mean shit. Jeff Jarrett is still the official WCW champion, and he will defend that title tonight in this ring against Booker T, who for 14 years has been busting his ass in WCW and can't get a goddamn break because of the Hulk Hogan. There were real emotions being fueled during that promo because I had it up to here with the wrestling shit. I really did, bro. I was over and I was done with it. And Hogan, you big bald son of a bitch, kiss my ass.
Wow.
That was not on the formats. That was not in the production meeting. That was nowhere to be found anywhere until this.
We do have Booker T now against Jeff Jarrett for the WCW title. That was just booked. That's added to the night.
My plan for the main event, Booker T beats Jeff Jarrett and becomes the WCW World Heavyweight Champion.
Boom.
Hogan, congratulations, enjoy the title. That's the fake title. The real
The fake title.
is going to be represented in the match with Jarrett.
The fake title. Yeah, I'm still confused. What? Hogan pinned Jarrett.
Oh my God, bro. I knew Hulk was going to be pissed. Everybody is believing this. 1,000%. And all I'm reading is Vince Russo finally put Hulk Hogan in his place. Vince Russo finally told Hulk Hogan what should have been said to him years ago. I'm reading this and I'm saying he is going to have a severe problem with it.
When Hulk gets really, really angry, he gets very quiet. Like, when he stops talking, that's when you need to start worrying. And he got real quiet after that. Like, real quiet.
Russo claims he pitched this entire storyline to Hulk and Eric in the trailer, and that they agreed.
Every single thing on that show was what was discussed in that trailer. Everything. From Jarrett laying down, to them leaving, to me cutting the promo, to Booker T winning the title at the end. It was exactly the way I laid it out to Hogan in the trailer.
That was never my plan. I guarantee you it wasn't Hulk Hogan's plan. And, by the way, Hulk Hogan had creative control. And we certainly didn't know that Booker T was going to walk out as a world champion. Because Hulk Hogan had that world title and was going to bring it back in October at Halloween Havoc. That was the plan.
Oh my God, that was part of the plan. This is a key point. The reason you have to leave the building is because if I go out there and cut a scathing promo on you and you're still in the building, you're gonna have to come kill me.
Russo may believe it, but that's where the pathological part of being a pathological liar comes in. None of that was discussed in advance. None of that was approved by me. None of it was approved by Hulk Hogan. It was just the most unprofessional thing that I'd ever seen in 30 years of television. The next morning, a furious Hogan calls into a local Tampa radio show, airing his grievances, for real, at Vince Russo.
The reason Vince McMahon is home laughing his ass off is because of a deep jerk-off like Vince Russo. That idiot went out there and told the people that he was responsible for me and Jarrett not having a match. He is a very stupid man. But now I'm really pissed off. I don't know how I'm going to get even with this Russo guy. They can pass that stupid-ass belt to Booker T, but I'm the real world's WCW champion.
Did you know Hulk was going to pursue legal action? Did I know that Hulk Hogan was going to take legal action? How could you not? How could you not?
This is crazy. So apparently Vince didn't agree with didn't have everything approved through Bischoff, apparently. Wow. Okay, guys, let's see what other comments you guys have here. Yes, Rory, I am still confused. I'm still confused. Do I feel Russo led to the downfall of TNA, Rory? I don't see why not, right? Yeah, Percy made a good comment here. It could have worked if Russo cut the promo starting the tournament to crown an interim champion. That would have made sense. What do I think of the reenactments they do in Dark Side? I think they're pretty cool. How the camera's blurred so you can't really see them, but they look like them, and you could tell, like, even the Hogan character, they have a lot of prosthetic makeup on him, and I think it's pretty cool. Richard Slater says Vince Russo went into business for himself that night. That's the truth. I think you're right, Richard. Rory asked, do I feel Booker T winning the championship gave him credibility as a world champ? Absolutely. And he became a 5-time WCW champion. Garrett says, do you think Hogan didn't want to face Jarrett? No, I think he did want to face him, but I think he wanted to do what was right for him, for Hogan. Richard said the only reason Hogan didn't go after Russo after it happened was because Hulk knew he had a lawsuit on his hands. Vince Russo went into business for himself for real, and he was wrong, period. Yeah, he was waiting for him to make money. Or is it, what mid-quarters do you feel deserved that belt more than Double J and Booker T? Mid-quarters? Well, you know, Kidman was coming up at that time. And at that time, Jericho was really coming up. I really feel like they could have really done something with Jericho at that point. Roy says, do you feel this is another reason why fans really hate Hogan besides him being racist? I'm sure it'll add, it would add to it. Mike Harper says, I'm going to do a community post soon. I have a few movies I want to watch, but I can't decide. So letting my subscribers help me decide. And that's awesome, Mike Harper. See, that's the beauty of having an audience. That's awesome, bro. Rory says, do you feel Hogan has been a fake all throughout his career? I think so, because I only think about...
Hogan takes legal
Yeah, he
action
thinks about the
against
money.
Vince Russo
It's all about the money.
WCW.
Because Hulk Hogan tonight wants to play his creative control card.
Hogan files lawsuits for defamation and breach of contract, asserting that Russo's off-script tirade was part of the match outcome and violated his creative control clause.
I believe Hogan felt double-crossed, and whether Russo actually double-crossed him or he just got carried away and said she shouldn't have, I have no idea, but it looks like, okay, you don't file lawsuits if this is just part of a storyline.
It gets to a judge, and the judge basically says, let me get this straight. This is a wrestling show. Vince Russo is in a wrestling ring. He is cutting a promo on a wrestling character. Where is the defamation of character?
Like, Hulk, you really suing over this? Shut up. I would not have been a good witness for that. Strange times.
I am cutting my promo on Hulk Hogan, not Terry Bollea. This is a story. Vince Russo is a character.
Wait, did Hogan lose the
Hulk
case?
Hogan is a character.
If Vince Russo takes the position that because he was performing as a character that took creative liberties with another professional, that somehow makes it legal and okay, is a reflection of the man's ignorance. He's got more than a problem with facts and truth. He's got a problem with reality.
And the first judge threw it out.
Wow.
They appealed it, and it went to a second judge.
First of all, I don't think that they went to multiple courts to begin with. It's not like they took it to the Supreme Court, for crying out loud.
The sworn depositions reveal a key piece of information that 2 days prior to Bash at the Beach, a fax was sent to the WCW head office.
I found out after the WCW office is closed, Hulk Hogan's attorney faxes a letter to the WCW office saying Hulk Hogan is not approving that script. I have no idea of this.
Wow.
Here's why that doesn't hold up. It was never a discussion or a debate between Hulk and me and Russo as to whether or not we were going to do something other than what Hulk and I had laid out. It wasn't up for debate, therefore why would there be this after-hours fax excuse?
I mean, I'm trying to decide between two dishonest people discussing something from 20 years ago to do with the facts. Yeah, I don't remember facts, but, you know, I never heard the fact story. I'll just say that.
The fax exposes Hulk Hogan's real intentions to maximize the full strength of his creative control and refuse any storyline Russo proposed. Russo triumphs in the courtroom as an appeals court affirms that fictional characters cannot be defamed. However, it's Hogan who emerges victorious in his battle against WCW.
Oh.
Hulk made the decision the night of Bash at the Beach that I probably will not get renewed, so how can I get another paycheck from AOL Time Warner? And that's through litigation.
I'm trying to get out of my contract with these guys, and Brad Siegel's real snug about not letting me out of the contract, but that's all I gotta say.
Well, Hulk Hogan was a key to building the company, and he obviously had the biggest name, but nothing is forever. And he'd been there too long, and he became the face of failure. So at that point, he was being paid so much, but he couldn't draw ratings to a great degree anymore, and people weren't going to go and pay to see Hulk Hogan matches they'd seen for all those years. There's really nothing left to do with him.
And then you have scumbags like Dave Meltzer, who is nothing more than a useful idiot, even though he calls himself a journalist.
A useful
Dave Meltzer
idiot.
He hates Hulk Hogan.
What Hulk Hogan was trying to achieve that
Call
night
Dave
means
Meltzer
clouded
useful
uncertainty.
idiot.
You know, I've asked myself that through the years. What was Hogan's vision? What was the upside? What was the ultimate plan? Was it to create so much controversy or to get eyeballs on the product? Was it to be his version of a Montreal screw job or his version of a publicity stunt? I don't know. We certainly know the results of it, but I have no idea what his vision was.
And Turner settled. I mean, This is fun because I sat with Hulk and his attorney Henry Holmes the day that they settled that. They took me out to dinner and told me what happened. They never gave me the amount. That was confidential. But I know it was well into 7 figures.
7 figures.
Some folks play chess while others are playing checkers. The night at Bash at the Beach, Hulk decided to start playing chess, and he had the patience, and he cashed out.
Checkmate. Wow. The story thickens, doesn't it? Wow, this story is really getting thick here. Jeez. All right, let's see what other questions we have here. Do I feel Hogan has been a fake all throughout his career? I think so, because I only think about the almighty dollar and nothing else. Yeah, it's all about the money with Hogan. No, did I ever drink the Hulkamania Kool-Aid as a kid? Well, I was a fan of Hulk as a kid. I was, honestly. In fact, Papa used to prank call me when I was a kid as Hulk Hogan. He's like, "Hey, brother." And I used to think it was Hulk Hogan on the phone. It was Poppy all along. Can you believe that? Top 4 Hogan movies of all time. Definitely Suburban Commando, Mr. Nanny, The Gremlins 2, and if I had to go for another Hogan movie, it's a good question. If another one comes to mind, I'll let you know. Richard says Hogan went into business for himself. Absolutely. Oh, Vince went into business for himself. I could see that. Vince also went into business for himself at TNA, Garrett says. And Garrett, yeah, they just mentioned the Montreal Screwjob too, so you can play your own creative control card in the stream. What would you do? And would you allow us fans to create our own creative control 1 hour during your streams? No, I would never. I would never let the inmates run the asylum. Never. Never. Never, Rory. Never. Not a possibility. What's up, Lord?
The facts of what actually went down at Bash at the Beach 2000 will forever be murky. But what was clear to fans that night was that the chaos and confusion only underscored the disorder and disintegration at the heart of the company.
It was the reality the night this happened, and it's the reality as I sit here today saying this. In a business that gave him everything, and that's what he gave back. It's about the most self-centered, egotistical power play move that only benefited Hulk. And that's the reality. But I mean, as far as a storyline based on what they were doing at the time, it was something that would get people talking and could have built to something. So I did like Booker T being champion. I thought that was cool. You know, it's not same old Hulk Hogan champion, right? So I guess I did like that. I do remember that. You know, thinking, this is something new.
Hey, let me tell you who doesn't give a shit about this company. That goddamn politician Hulk Hogan.
It was destined for failure from the beginning.
At the end of it all, I don't think the Bash at the Beach was the nail in the coffin for WCW.
You see what it says right here? This is my ass, if you will.
You know what I mean? It was like the gig was already up. It was just kind of a flattering company. WCW was a star that became a supernova and then burned itself out.
In its dying days, WCW is snapped up by its longtime arch-rival Vince McMahon and the WWF. Despite having an attractive offer on the table from a venture capital firm spearheaded by Eric Bischoff.
The deal for us to purchase WCW is for $67 million. We buy all the assets and we get placement on Monday nights and Thursday nights. That was our deal. And I got a phone call. They said, Eric, it's done. I thought he meant the deal was done. Like, we own a wrestling company. I'm about ready to jump up and start dancing. I said, you mean it's done? He goes, no, Eric, you don't get it. It's over. There's no deal. Turner took it off the table. It took a minute for that to sink in.
It was a fire sale at the end. Time Warner wanted to get rid of wrestling. It was like $2.5 million for the actual WCW, and I think there's $1.7 million more for the tape library. It was definitely the equivalent of, buying Manhattan for $25.
That's right. I own WCW. I have zero regrets, man. I have zero regrets. Regret to me is a negative thing. It's like baggage. I try not to carry any baggage with me at all.
I've said this about Vince Russo. Vince is a guy who's very passionate, like a lot of us, and does what he thinks the viewer wants to watch. And he's had successes, and he's had failures, like all of us.
Do you know how little this shit matters? It is a form of entertainment at the end of the day. I don't hate any of these people, bro. This was a job. People ask me all the time today, Vince, what is your advice to get into the wrestling business? And I tell them, don't.
Don't. Oh, shoot. He said, don't. That was hilarious. That was so funny. Jeez. Don't. Hey, I kind of agree with them for that in that aspect, because whoa. Jeez. What's up, Dark Angel? Laura says, Matt, the match for Ronda versus Shayna's MMA rules. Think Ronda will knock out Shayna. It's a possibility. Yeah, I think Shayna's going to win. Rory says, do you feel Hogan was the main reason Vince bought WCW? I think it wasn't the main. I don't think it was the main reason. I think it was just to kill the competition. Richard says, I feel Vince Russo personally did not like Hogan. It was not going to keep him on a main roster. Yeah, Richard, he just felt like he was an old man, like a dinosaur, and that's basically it. Rory says, thoughts on Marginetti? I thought he had potential to be as big as Shawn Michaels, but I know he had a lot of personal demons that prevented that from happening. Yeah, Rory, from StreamYards from in the past, you're talking about when I had like 10,000 subscribers, 10 to 15,000 subscribers. I've learned a lot since then. So things have changed. Things have changed. Since the early StreamYards days where I used to let you guys go nuts on those live streams. Things have changed. Dark Angel. Yes, so unfortunately I can't follow everyone around on social media, preventing people from using other people's names and likeness. I can't do that. However, if I see it here on the channel, I will take action. I will take action. But if you guys see it outside the stream, I suggest you guys take action too. And if that means calling your local authorities to find out information on what you should do, then please do so. Please do so. Please phone your local authorities. Roy says, do I feel Eric doing spoilers in WCW help them get more fans or lose fans? Initially, yes, they did, but then it backfired. I think he lost more fans when he said Mick won championship in Raw. That was the exact time I switched too. I switched the channel exactly when he said that, you know. I was one of those fans. Maroney, no, I'll check Instagram after the stream, though. Do I feel Russo hates Hogan? I think he does. I think he does, even though he said he doesn't hate anybody. But I think he does. He really does. Gareth says, do I think Russo went too far? I think Russo said exactly what was on his mind, you know, and sometimes you got to wait and reevaluate everything before you say it, you know. You can't say everything that comes to your mind right away, you know. Sometimes you got to reevaluate everything. Richard said Russo hated Hogan because if you remember, when he came to WCW, he said he wanted to fire everyone above the age of 40. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. See, he called them old dinosaurs like Ric Flair and Macho Man. Oh yeah, Dark Angel, if I see any mishaps with moderators moving forward, I will be removing mods. Rory asks, would I ever give a Brett autograph as a prize? If this channel grows, if it grows to exponential rates, and I will be giving away prizes, any prizes that you guys couldn't even imagine. But this channel has to grow. That's my goal, to be the biggest wrestling live stream channel on YouTube, and I'm getting there. I'm getting there. It's gonna take some time, but it will get there. Or he says, do you feel Dixie Carter was a good owner? I don't really know, to be honest. She was I don't think she had a lot of knowledge about the business. She had a lot of money. Where he says, who are your top 5 wrestlers in Impact? What's up, Dino Man? In Impact of all time, I say Robert Roode, Kurt Angle, Samoa Joe, AJ Styles, and Jeff Hardy. Thank you, Percy. Okay, Percy, and for Monday Night Raw and SmackDown, I do wrestling trivia. These guys compete for wrestling titles on the stream. So make sure you stop by, subscribe, and hit the bell. Rory says, I could give you a site where you could get his autograph cheap. It's his own website, not fake. Well, send me the link, Rory. I'll check it out. What's up, Danny? Daily Dan Blog, what's going on? Danny, you had a Bigfoot thing? Oh, that's all right. Mix and match WCW, ECW, W Impact wrestlers who would you put in your roster? That would be a good, you know, for rosters. I think it would be led by someone like RVD, Shawn Michaels, AJ Styles. Those are the high flyers. In their prime, I don't know what kind of matches those guys would have put on. Man, forget it. Some of the best matches known to man, if that were to happen. You got powerhouses like Brock Lesnar, Batista, John Cena. Then you got giants like Andre the Giant, The Undertaker, Kane. You got some tag team wrestling, the Rockers. You got the Hart Foundation, the Legion of Doom. Where he says, who are Sarah's favorite wrestlers? Definitely John Cena was up there. John Cena, CM Punk, Cody Rhodes. Goldust, Dustin Reynolds. Yeah, and she liked the Bella Twins. She liked the Bella Twins. She liked Paige. She was upset when Paige had to retire. She liked AJ Lee. She liked Daniel Bryan. Roy, who are Boots' favorites? Well, he likes Brock Lesnar like me. He actually likes Chris Jericho. I like Chris Jericho too, but I don't think Chris Jericho's on my top like 5. But thank you, Danny, for voting. Also, yeah, Boots, he likes the same wrestlers as me, pretty much, like Undertaker, John Cena, The Rock, Stone Cold. Not much deviation there. Roy says, do I feel Cena is as fake as Hogan or real? I would say that Cena would have to be very political to get to where he was in that organization. So I'm sure he was fake at times to get to where he had to go. But that's what you have to do, you know, to be that barracuda and a fish in the sea. You're gonna eat up all those little fish. Stay on top, you know. That was Cena. Boots? No, he never wished to play as Pee-wee. Garrett. Oh, do you mean with fans? Roy, I would say Cena. I don't know how his interactions are with fans, honestly. I haven't heard anything bad. I haven't heard anything good either, so I don't know. Gentlemen, the last WWE game I played was actually 2K22 in Brooklyn at the Nut House. That's the condo. Johnny Boots lives with Lady Elaine and Poppy in Brooklyn. Black Hawk Down, that's awesome, Mike Harper. But yeah, it was a good game. You know, I just don't have any time to really play games right now, but it's okay. All right, guys, so I want to thank you so much for joining me tonight. I hope you all be safe and be well. I'll catch you guys next time on the live stream. Be ready for Thursday, the Hall of Fame induction ceremony live this Thursday night. Celebrities are one way around cameras, and we're not with cameras another way. Oh, Rory, absolutely, I'm sure. Most celebrities are. What's up, Bruce Jarvis? What's up, bro? Plenty of fakes, Roy. I'm sure you meet a lot of people, Roy. I'm sure you met plenty of fakes. I'm sure. Hey, Garrett, that would be great. Well, you never know. You just never know what's gonna happen. All right, guys. Well, you guys have a great night tonight. You all be safe and be well. Enjoy your evening, and I'll catch you guys next time on the live stream. Hall of Fame induction ceremony on Thursday. On Thursday, guys. Be ready. Rory needs to be a Fruit Loop. What? All right, good night, everybody. MATTROISE signing out. Be safe, be well. Oh, yeah, Roy. We'll see on Thursday night. Well, we'll see. All right, have a good night. Be safe, be well. MATTROISE signing out. Oh, it was brilliant, Garrett. It was.